Hello guys, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody's doing great today. So, question I've got, and I thought about this. You asked me, hey Mark, what was that feeling or that state of being when you knew you were going to win the lottery? Did you have any state of being or anything? Or basically the question was about what did I focus on or what did I know about manifesting that guaranteed me to get what I wanted in my life. And I'm going to show you today so that you can understand that you can manifest and create anything you want the same way, because we're all created and we all program the same way as far as our etherical self. Okay, so the first thing that I had to grasp, and I want you to be able to grasp it, is this fact that we are more than our body and our mind. I think that is the most crucial or important point or truth that you have to accept before you can go on and live your best life and create whatever you want. You have to accept that, again, you're coming in, you are more than the body and the mind. What you are is consciousness. You can play both roles. Consciousness, who you are, you can be anywhere at any time. There is no space or time. You're in the present. You can come back here also, and you can play the game of being in the 3D. You can go in and you can perceive linear time. You can perceive limitations. You can perceive a lack, or you can go back out and get into your true self, and you don't have to experience any of those things or perceive any of those things as affecting your life. So that was the most crucial truth that I had to learn so that I can manifest the lottery or anything, because if I didn't know that, then I would be severely limited. But once I realized that I was this being, that I can go in and out, a human being being is a state. It's being in a state of being. That's what you are, and the state of being is always in the present. So that's the first thing that I had to grasp to create. And the next thing that really grasped me when I was manifesting the lottery in my life was when I learned when I let go. That's when the magic won it. And something else I learned along this journey: you cannot want what you already have. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's a fact. And then that goes into a deeper understanding that, I'll repeat it again, because some of you may say, hey, what he's talking about? Well, let me repeat it again. You cannot want what you already have or what is already yours. Do you know what that means? I think that's a very important point, because if you understand that, then living your best life, creating your dreams and goals will be so easy for you. So let me explain to you what that means, because it sounds kind of, well, what do you mean? I don't have it, therefore I want it. No. See, guys, creating your life by design instead of by default, manifesting, living your goals, achieving your dreams and desires, it's always about the big picture. It's not about what you can see, this little gap in your mind. It's about the big picture. And the big picture, it says that the elements, the things we want or desire, are already available to us in the present moment. The difference is we cannot see these things because they haven't manifested as actual events, but the ingredients to make these things what you desire exist in the moment. That's the big picture, and that's what remember, your subconscious always sees the big picture. So whenever you want something, you say, man, I want it. You're sending a discord to your subconscious, because your subconscious says, why would you want it? You already have it. But your ego is saying, I don't have it because I don't see the evidence. I don't have the physical thing in my life. That's the messed up thing about it. That's why you got to go to the big picture. So once you realize that, then it takes you to the next level, which is now you can let it go. So my personal experience is, once I let go of the need to win the lottery, the want to get this car, all of that, I felt like this huge weight just lifted off of me. And that's when I knew I was going to win the lottery and buy this very car I'm sitting in right now. And how did I know that? Because a feeling proceeded after I let it go. Once I let it go, I had this feeling I never felt before in my entire life. It was a feeling like I've done this before, or I know. It was, I don't know. I would call it a feeling, I would call it a knowing. It was just this thing that just says, I guess you could call it a quiet confidence. The best way I could describe it to you is that if you've done something before and you go do it again and you remember you've done it before, you feel this confidence of it, right? So that took it. So I got some comments here. So someone says, this is who, Power and Grace. My problem is I want a McLaren GT in purple and a house on the ocean, that's all. Okay, why is that a problem? That's not a problem. Okay, that's not a problem. And let me tell you why. See, guys, whenever you're creating in your dreams and your desires, you cannot put words or phrases that will put you away from that. There is no problem in the universe. There's only solutions in the universe. So you have to look at it like it's yours. You're supposed to have it, just like with the lottery, you know. But the thing of it is, guys, you have to understand the nuance of reality. See, you want to know about who you are and what drives you, what creates you, and how what this stuff works. And that is in the world of quantum mechanics. Yes, you're blocking it by saying it's a problem. If you're saying it's a problem to manifest my car, it's a problem to manifest my dream house, it's a problem to manifest it, this is just all I want. All your subconscious mind here is problem, want, want. What it says, want problems. Want problems is deducing problems and what? It's an illogical mind. Remember that. You have to be open, as someone says, to receive. You have to be open to accept what's already yours. Now, so once I have this feeling, once I let go of this thing, this desire to like win this lottery and get this car, man, then that's the feeling came, right? That feeling came along. And when that feeling came along, I knew I would win. I knew I was going to win. So this is the step for you to manifest what you want. You have to understand that there's nothing that you need. There's things that you desire. There's nothing that you want. There's things that you desire. Okay, a desire to me, putting out to you, and I want you to see how I looked at it. A desire to me is not something I want or need. A desire to me is something I could have. See the different vibrational patterns there? I could have that. That means I have options. It's a choice. It's not a limitation. And that's what a desire is. A desire is that very way. I could have that. It would be nice to have that. What would it look like to have that? I could imagine having that. And then your mind opens up to bring things into your life. And again, you have to, this is something you have to think again, guys, that the world you and I live in right now, it's a world of perception and energy. It's a world of our thoughts and our imaginations. Who we are isn't bound to this world. What you're doing is you're piggybacking. You're playing two games. You're jumping in and out. You're going back into your true self, and you're coming back into this world. The only problem with this, we're going to say issue with this world, is there's someone else sharing this 3D with you that didn't come here with you. It evolved here with you. That is known as your intellect or ego mind. So your ego mind learned and developed in the 3D world. Therefore, your ego mind is susceptible to limitations. It's susceptible to wants and needs. It can't see a full picture. You, however, are not susceptible to that, because you jump out and you can see awareness and you can see everything. And that part of you is always connected to you. And the vehicle to reach that part of you is through the unconscious or the subconscious mind. So once I started to play the lottery, so if you just joined this live right now, you're asking me, Mark, what was it like to win the lottery? How did you know you was going to win? How did you know you were going to manifest this car and win, all that? Was there anything? And what led me to that was what I just mentioned to you, the understanding of quantum mechanics, the understanding of who I am, where I'm from, or whatever it is, and the understanding of what reality is and my imagination. So once I put those tools together, I created an implementation plan. That's when I started to use the repetition, and I started to influence my unconscious mind. So the biggest thing, or the biggest tip, whatever you want to call it, the aha moment, was the realization that I have no limitations in creating an experience I want to have. That was the biggest and what led me to that realization that I have no limitations is how the world is actually made up. You see, I used to think that the world was a physical place, like structure, and I used to think that other people had hold my life or depend on my life. I used to think that I have to know people to get stuff. I have to do that. You know, I used to think that this is how the card's set up. It's just where you're born and blah blah blah. And if you don't have connections, you can't. I used to think like that. Once I studied and I got downloads and I started universe works, quantum mechanics in my mind, my total thinking changed. It totally changed, and it changed because of science and truth. Science is the fact. You know, the thing about science is, man, it's irrefutable, man. Science sets everything up. When people talk and they say, man, science says, I'm going to prove it to you. And they do experiments and they actually prove it to you. And you see evidence of that. So science was the great background for me. So once I understood, I realized, okay, man, damn, I can literally create this lottery win and buy this M3 I'm sitting in here right now. I'm gonna go do it, man. I could literally go get a brand new house if I choose to. I could literally go get a brand new car. You're telling me right now I could literally go and experience and get all the stuff that I desire in this world? There is no law in physics that says it's not possible. As a matter of fact, physics is open to that. Physics is open to infinity. It's an infinite multiverse we live in. So the limitation was a mindset that I would develop from lack of my ego. It was a mindset. It was a mind block. So once I understood that, I went ahead and I started to do my routine, my visualization, my buy my tickets, my feeling the car, all the stuff you guys learn and know about already. I started to implement those things, and I implemented them, and then I began to let go of that stuff. Letting go takes time for different individuals. And I'll give you the biggest secret if you ever want to let go. Do not try to let go and watch the time. Just let go when you let go. Correct? Listen. Let go when you let go. Let go when you realize that this is a limitation and you're limitless. And you'll get it if you desire. And let me show you another point. Science shows me too that science says that the mind creates the matter. The universe is inside of me. That's what science is saying now. We know that now. Back when I started to teach this, when I won the lottery 5 years ago, the two scientists didn't win that Nobel Prize for showing that reality is not here, it's not local. So now I can say with 100% confidence and surety that what I was saying 5 years ago is now a science fact. So the science says this, and this is science fact. This is what science says now. It's not what Mark says. This is what your mainstream science says. The mainstream science says that whatever I perceive inside of my mind with repetition and persistence, it will manifest as a physical experience in the real world. That's what your mainstream science says. So, once that clicked, I knew I was going to win. I knew it then. I knew I had to win. It was just a matter of what people call time. And that to me, it didn't exist as well, because once I understand the big picture, I always say big picture, not little picture, big picture, there's no time, there's only this moment. And I started to repeat that. I'm not gonna lie to you now. There's times when my ego gave me problems. Okay, my ego, this was uncomfortable to my ego. This was an uncertain thing, and the ego did create a lot of resistance. So I had to work through that with the ego, and how I did that was I had to calm the ego down by showing the ego science, and I showed the ego that I was in charge by telling the ego it was going to be okay. And I just kept focusing on my goal. And once I kept focusing on my goal, I started to see evidence that my goal may very well happen. And the first evidence that I witnessed about my goal was those synchronicities that you guys may be seeing, the 7s and the 8s. I started seeing those a lot. And that's when I realized, oh, this is a sign from the universe, Mark. This is a sign that says that your goal is about to be achieved. Keep going. And I started seeing more evidence of it, more signs, and that's what gave me more hope, or more perseverance, and more confidence. And I continued to do that, and then it led up to that day when I won, and it was the most marvelous moment you can think of, because it was so surreal. And I will say this story over and over again. When it happened, it was the exact way I imagined it in my mind, and it played out the exact way in the physical reality. I don't know if you've experienced something like that, but if you ever do, you have the chance to experience it, it's going to be something profound that will change your life forever, because you will never look at reality the same way. Because if you're someone, if you think about this, you're someone and you've been seeing this thing in your mind for months or whatever years, and you replay this image, and then one day it actually comes out the exact way in your mind. It does something to your consciousness. It gives you a new level of awareness. It gives you a new level of knowledge. It gives you a new level of certainty or knowledge that you can now change your life in a whole profound way. And you can do the same thing, because all you have to do is understand the principles that I'm putting forth to you here, and you will change your whole life profoundly. All right? I will see you guys again next time. Don't forget, you can go check my book out. It's on Amazon. If you want to learn the stuff manifesting and how I won the lottery, use it to do it, whatever, beyond the lottery, go get it. It's on Amazon. I'll put the link here, and I will see you guys again next time.